Good evening, everybody. Today I want to discuss about a topic on peristalsis. Here we have seen whenever the ingestions of food occur, that is, the food boyas is actually gone to the stomach through peristalsis process, and this process is actually proceed by mechanisms. Basically, here are two types of masses. One is the circular masses, and another is the longitudinal masses. Helps to propel the food remnants through the GI tract, and this process is basically known as peristaltic movement. And we know the circular masses and longitudinal masses. We have to perform that process, and the food boyasis ultimately come to the cardiac sphincter, that is the first portions of the stomach. Okay, and from there are three types of peristaltic movement we have found here. That is the first peristaltic movement. Here the velocity is near about 1 to 2 semi per second, and then we have found the second peristaltic movement, and here the velocity is max, that is near about 2 to 25 semi per second, and if we cut a vagus nerve, then we find a third way of peristaltic movement, which is known as uh, the third peristaltic movement. Okay, and that peristaltic movement is actually occurred by a reflex systems which is known as Mitric reflex system. And then the food boyas food boyas go to the intestine, from stomach to the intestine, and there we have found the rhythmic segmentations, because as there is a segmented systems found in small intestine, so the rhythmic segmentations is occurred to the small intestine. And after that we know the different pancreatic juices and intestinal juices are mixed with food, and we know in pancreatic juice it contains basically different types of proteolytic enzyme. We know that is trypsin, chymotrypsins, or carboxypeptidase. Basically they are the majority of the proteolytic enzyme presence in pancreatic juice, except MIH and lipase. So pancreatic amide basically involved with the amyloidic breakdown, and the pancreatic lipase is basically involved with the fat digestions. So this is the process. And if we go through the different digestion systems, we know only the carbohydrate digestions basically occur to the mouth, but we know due to absence of proteolytic enzyme to the saliva, so protein digestions and as well as fat digestions do not occur in mouth. Only the protein digestions and fat digestions occur to the stomach and small intestine. And if we look forward towards the carbohydrate digestions, then we can find out the boy starch is actually break down and come to the glucose form by the consecutive effect of tie-in. And the conformational change is that is the boy starch to soluble starch to erythrodextrin to acrodextrin, and ultimately we come to the last of the product, that is glucose. And in stomach basically the hydrolysis of sucrose is actually occurred in presence of hydrochloric acid. And in small intestine the common process is here, that is the bile, pancreatic juice and intestinal juices are mixed with food. It may be carbohydrate or maybe protein or maybe fat. In every case, what have we seen? The common thing is that the bile, the pancreatic juice and the intestinal juice are mixed with the food. And according to the type of food, that is either it will be carbohydrate or protein or fat, the pancreatic MIH or the proteolytic different enzyme or lipase different enzyme we do its activity. In case of carbohydrate, we see here whenever the food biosis come to the small intestine, the duodenum part of small intestine, then the pancreatic MIH, moitrate, sucrase, reactase will do its activity. Whenever the proteinous food will come to the small intestine, then the pancreatic juice and intestinal juice are mixed, and so that's why the trypsin, chymotrypsin, and carboxypeptidase will do its consecutive functions, consecutive activity. And in case of fat, what have we seen? Basically, the gastric lipase is the main principal enzyme here, and it breaks down the nucleic fat into glycerol and fatty acid. And we know pitta yavon there are different bile salt basically help to the to active the inactive lipase to its active form, and as a result it will break down the fat into fatty acid and glycerol. And ultimately the reaction, different reactions is actually occur, that is the triglyceride we convert to the fatty acid and diglyceride, and then by pancreatic lipase diglyceride is actually break down to fatty acid and monoglycerides. And whenever this processes happen, then the absorption processes actually proceed.